So this is the finance simulation for capital budgeting. You are the new CEO of the head of New Heritage's capital committee, and you will be deciding which projects should receive funding for the next 5 years. The board of directors has set an annual limit on dollar funding for capital projects, and the given capital rationing situation at New Heritage you'll be unable to invest in all proposals, even if they are value creating and exceed risk adjusted hurdle rates. So our task was to evaluate proposed projects using the financial qualitative information that was provided and select projects to be approved for a given year's investment. And like I said, we were given the 5-year period, so from 2010 to 2014. How to play. In the simulation, you are playing the CEO, and we are investing in projects, and we review all of the options, and then we navigate through the Analyze tab and look through all of the projects, their finances, and how they would benefit our company, and then we ultimately decide for that year. And then after you click decide the results, it moves on to the next year. So let's get started. There's also intro videos on how to play and just a little bit of reading that you can do, but let's get started. Okay, so my company's APV for the year was 453.94, which is pretty good, I would say. So right here we have the cash flow of a division. We went up quite a bit. And then over here we have the revenue by division. And we can switch between revenue by division, operation profit by division, and total assets by division. Let's go back to revenue by division. The red is production, the green is retail, and the blue is licensing. For revenue, product has 182%, and retail has 254.2%. For operations, our licensing is a big profit by division for operation profit. And our total assets, our production is clearly the forefront, and it's the most used. So up here it shows our revenue from 2009. It was $254.75, or 254.75. The previous year was 312.4, and so for our current year for 2014, we moved up to 329.91. So between the years, between 1 year, we went up and by 17.51. And right here, the actual is the blue, and the green is the forecast. Our operation income went up by almost 20, and our net income went up by 10, which is really good in my opinion. So over here we have our project updates. So we'll look at these. For each year, this shows us what we went with and kind of tells us how that company did. For 2009, when we started, I chose retail store expansion in the Northeast and Match My Doll clothing line. The retail store operations generated more revenue than expected and were profitable right away, which is fantastic. The Match My Doll clothing line outperformed expectations after a celebrity's daughter was photographed, and the gross margin was higher than expected due to lower than anticipated raw material costs. In 2010, I chose New Doll Film DVD and Dolls of the World Initiative. The film was a success. It was released on schedule, and it exceeded previous films made by NH. And the Dolls of the World the prototypes took longer than expected, which delayed the launch. But the initiative is still expected to succeed. In 2011, I was not allowed to choose as many projects to be funded as I'd liked, because I would say that I did not go out of my way in the previous 2 years to try to maximize my full profits. And so I only got to pick one. And so I went with the toddler doll accessory line, and it performed in line with the expectations regarding both sales and costs, which is good. So the next year, I was allowed to fund 2 new projects while funding the rest of mine as well for the years. And I did Match My Doll clothing line, which in my first year, I picked Match My Doll clothing line, which outperformed expectations. And in 2012, the clothing line expanded, and it benefited the strong performance from the first initial Match My Doll, and even outperformed projections. And expansions to England, they were stronger than expected, and due to the Dolls of the World in Europe, which is really exciting. And I had picked Dolls of the World Initiative in 2010. So it kind of it went together. So those 2 were previous ones that I'd picked. In 2013, so my last year, I was able to choose 4 projects to fund. I chose EDI Supplier Software System, Design Your Doll, Virtual Doll Community, and Doll Video Game. All really set me over from, if we look back to the dashboard, from going from this year, from when I first started out to going to here, it boosted me, maybe not as much as I have really gone for, but I think I did pretty well. So for those last 4, all of them turned out really well. So next tab, we have the IS and BS income statement and the balance sheet. And this just allows us to look at what our current projections were for 2014, and then future projections for the years to come. So on our screen, we have 2014, 2024. And then we have production consolidated, and that goes, the income statement and balance sheet covers 4 consolidations: the company, the production, retail, and licensing. Moving on, we have our cash flow statement. And again, this all correlates from company, production, retail, and license consolidation. And this just shows us our current projections and how we will increase in the years to come. Financial analysis. There we go. It just shows our debt-free from cash flow, perpetuity-based terminal value, and 5-year cumulative EBITDA. It doesn't necessarily show all of our future projections for company consolidated or any of these, but it's a start. The project details. This is the screen where you really have to look at all of your options to choose from. And one option I really wanted to pick a lot was the new East Coast distribution facility. I was unable to because of my remaining balance within my funding that I had. But like my one that I picked, the Match My Doll clothing line, it was a high risk. Lifetime projected cost was 5.57 years. NPV was 6.46. and it